you doing, everybody? Welcome to my channel. You too can be great. This is gonna be the Marriage Bootcamp reality TV, reality stars hip hop edition season 16. Hold on, let me fix my camera. Episode 8. And I'm also gonna do Waka and Tammy, What the Flocka, Marriage is a Firestorm, season 1, episode 3. And I combined both of them because I have a third review I'm gonna be doing. And I don't want to have 3 videos because I just don't have, I have a lot of stuff to do today. So I want to get this done, get you guys the juice, and we can keep it pushing. So welcome everybody this Saturday morning. Y'all are stuck at home, so you get to watch this and get your little tea while you move on with your life. So we start off with Marriage Bootcamp. Michelet and Stu wake up and they're discussing Michelet's previous relationship and how it affects her understanding on how to love. Now, I Googled Michelet, and child, I didn't know Michelet is the ex to both Dr. Dre and Suge Knight. Suge Knight alone being her ex, no comment. We already know the type of relationship that would have been, especially when they had the whole Death Row Records thing, the NWA, way back then, and them growing up in the hood. That's the type of love she expects, is that thug love, abusive, whether they're talking down to you, beating your ass. Like, that's the type of love she's used to. And then later on, she tells us that she's actually grew up listening to her mom get beat up all the time by the dudes that were in her life, and she would just bump up the music, and that was a way for her to just, she said it was calming to her, it was soothing. So hearing somebody beat your ass is what's calming to you. Then you got Stu, who doesn't beat people's ass like that, who is trying to love, but Stu takes everything as a joke, and there's a reason for that, why I'm explaining later. But it's like they're incompatible with each other. If Michelet is still feeling like, yeah, this is how somebody expresses their love for me, is they, you know, if they're calling me a bitch, if they're calling me a hoe, if they're whooping my ass, if they're bringing me down, if they're trying to tear down my spirit, that's love. If she's coming out of that mindset, it's going to be very hard to be able to accept when somebody real in your life who's treating you the way you're supposed to be treated is actually there for you. It's going to be hard for you to accept. And we know the last episode when they talked, when they did the whole sex thing, Stu said that Michelet had cried the first time that they had sex. Her excuse was, well, I hadn't had sex in 2 years, so that's why I cried. But I don't think so. I think that Michelet's definition of love, when she experienced maybe intercourse with the people she dated in the past that were abusing her, it wasn't to the extent, maybe Stu is very sensual. And that's something that was new to her. And he must have rocked her world and really like showed her like, this is how you love a woman's body. I'm not beating you. I'm not scarring you. I'm really kissing all your scars type stuff. And she's out here bawling. So I really feel like Stu loves her, but there are also things within herself that Michelet needs to work on that she doesn't really know about. Then we got CeeLo and Shawnee. CeeLo and Shawnee said that they had an argument the night before, but what they have a pattern of doing is they fight. They don't talk about it. They let it go, and it just keeps coming up. And it seems to be that they both try to avoid confrontation. CeeLo doesn't express himself like a normal human being. He expresses it in the form of a freaking Shakespearean poem. Shawnee wants a straightforward answer. So that there's your problem. So communication is already a factor that's an issue. And it's been an issue since they landed in this damn boot camp. And it seems like they still haven't figured that shit out. Then we got Jocelyn, who's feeling bad. She feels like she did bad as a parent because Stevie got custody of Bonnie Bella. Now, I don't feel like she's a bad parent in and of itself, but I feel like the idea of her saying that Bonnie, okay, I can't, you know, soon enough she'll be home. Bonnie is home, technically. She's home with her dad. She has 2 homes. The idea of Jocelyn thinking that the daughter belongs to her when she's not at the age where she's supposed to be breastfeeding anymore is the problem with her mentality and the system that we have now. That baby does not belong to Jocelyn alone. 2 people made her. 2 people are responsible for her. Jocelyn should have the opportunity to be with her daughter where she can come to her home, sleep, stay there, take care of her, and then she should go to her dad's home as well. But technically she got 2 homes, and Jocelyn needs to understand that so she doesn't look at this situation as if it's a bad thing. If so far as the judge says, doesn't say, oh, you can't see your daughter, or you guys can't do shared custody, then that's a problem. But if Stevie's trying to think that, okay, if it's like, okay, Stevie gets the baby and I don't have anything to do with her type thing, I don't think that's the case because she was able to call her, then she should look at it as if this is a shared custody type situation, try to get it to that point, as opposed to it being that Stevie gets full custody. That's not cool either. Then we got Bianca letting us know that she touched money early on in life at 15 years old. And because she did that, she has a lot of trust issues. We all know that in the industry, people steal your money left and right. People have you sign bad contracts. I mean, we heard about Kanye's contract that basically made him a whole damn slave. So we know that in the industry, people can take advantage of you. And her being 15 and having that much money, it made her distrustful of people. And so she's ready to battle and fight. And if if you lie to her one time, she's like, oh, you lie to me all the time. It's very hard to come back from that. That's her problem. Trust issues. Then the exercise begins. The exercise is called Scar for Life. They have to draw 3 things about their past, and they have to illustrate that to each other. We find out that Chose was supposed to go pro football. Before he decided to dip into the music industry, he was supposed to go pro. He was good enough to go pro, but that shit didn't happen. Then we got Adjoa, who lets us know that she was molested between the age of 5 and 7. And I'm thinking, this type of shit happens a lot in our community, especially if you grew up in the ghetto. You have a lot of people who are on drugs, who are alcoholics, who are just sick in the head in general, that do take advantage of these children. But because it's the ghetto and because it's happening to black folk, it's just like we got to just get up and deal with it. All we get are awkward Thanksgiving, like Dave Chappelle said. But some people don't get any kind of monetary compensation for shit like this, and it happens a lot within our community. Because here's Audra saying that even though she had her father there who treated her like a princess, who protected her, who loved her the best that he could, it still didn't protect her enough from having somebody molest that girl. Then we got Styles, who has this idea of himself that he's the only one that can do for himself because he didn't got his ass abused by his stepfather. And I'm thinking, where was his mama when this man was beating his ass and probably scarring that little boy? That's the problem. Do not take your husband, your when it's a stepfather, stepmother situation, you need to be careful, because not many people on this earth are able to love a child, another person's child, like they would their own. If you have a relationship with someone, you have a baby, y'all break up, and you decide to enter a relationship with someone, I don't care if it's a male or female, you need to make sure that that person, watch them. Make sure that they understand what their boundaries are. You are not going to put your hand on a baby that you did not sire, because at the end of the day, you can go too far and hurt this child, because that instinct that tells you this is your baby is not always there for a majority of people. Because here Styles telling us his stepfather was beating his ass, not necessarily like for beating him, like punishing him and stuff like that, like overboard. There's a spanking and there's beating, and he was beat to the point that it was just unnecessary. And I'm thinking your mama should have been there to protect you, because she shouldn't let that man put their hands on you. If you can control himself and she wanted to maintain that relationship, she could have had him live in his own house and not have him around you so much. This is wrong with people today. Then we got CeeLo letting us know that as a kid, somebody's kid, while they were hanging out, decided that he was a loser and decided to spit in his chest and everybody thought it was funny. Excuse me? Let my imaginary kid go out into public and spit on somebody. You be surprised if you still have your tongue by the next day still attached to your mouth. Who the fuck are you to go and spit on somebody? What is wrong with you? That is the ultimate disrespect. And it's not like a grown person is even doing. You're doing this as a child? How far are you going to go when you get grown? Like, where are these parents and what are you teaching your kids? Then we got Michelle explaining about the mama being beat. We got Jocelyn, who lets us know that she was introduced to sex early on in life by a family member who was not just molesting her, but also teaching her how to go and get drugs, how to use her body to get what she wants, which makes sense, because she used her body to get Stevie. She used her body to get all these females. Everything about her is superficial. I'm too hot. I'm too beautiful. I got a nice body. She's always so quick to get down and start twerking. Things that Ballistic is telling her, a woman that I want my wife should not be doing so easily. But how can you tell somebody who's been taught from childhood that this is how they're going to get what they want to stop doing it in their adult life? We have different peaks in our life as children. We have different levels of growth, different levels of learning. And during those learning periods, it is pivotal for you to teach that child the right thing during that state of mind. Jocelyn was taught all the wrong things. Hell, she was running the streets as a prostitute by 15 years old. How can you tell this person now in her late 20s to be a type of person that she has spent her entire life being and getting to this point being that person? How are you supposed to change somebody like that? I mean, honestly, you don't do stuff like people get scarred children and think that, oh, it was a long time ago. When they get older, they'll forget about it. No, they don't. Look at what's happening to Jocelyn now. That's probably the reason why the judge saw fit to take Bonnie Bella away from Stevie, is because they feel like the way she portrays herself and the way that she behaves makes her an incompetent parent, which is not accurate either. You can't judge a book by its cover, because here we are finding out that this girl, who may be so sexual, has been taught to be sexual, and that's how she's supposed to get what she wants in life, is to be that way. How do you change that? I think Bonnie Bella would be the person to make her into a better person. But ultimately, Jocelyn needs to really figure this out. Then we got, after the exercise, Bianca decides to go and talk to Choices and let him know that she doesn't like the fact that he keeps going to find other females whenever they have a fight. His thought process is, let me go get somebody else and see if it'll make it better. And it never works out, because according to her, he always falls back to her and makes her the backup plan. And so she's trying to address it, and Choices is like, if you're the 23-year-old, I'm going to have my cake and I'm going to eat it too. So I don't know why you're telling me this, because I don't feel like I'm going to stop. If we get into a fight, if I find some other girl that is out there for temporarily fixing my pain with you, I'm going to go get that person, and you're going to still be there waiting for me to come back to you. Then we got, they bring out these kids, and the kids are supposed to illustrate what each of them talked about. And as the kids were talking, we find out a lot more about Stu. Stu actually stated that his father was a drug addict, and his father got infected with HIV and ultimately became full-blown AIDS and passed away for trading needles and stuff like that, doing drugs. And in addition to that, he had buried like 30 of his friends, not 30 of his friends in a matter of one summer. What kind of traumatizing shit can that be when you have buried 30 people that you've known and loved in one summer? Where are these people growing up at that you just got 30 people dying in one summer and that you over here, oh, that's too much? That makes sense to me. Stu has a lot of pain that he has had to deal with, okay? And what he's learned as a coping mechanism is to laugh about everything. To hide his pain, he makes jokes out of everything. Now, in my previous video, because he wouldn't take nothing seriously, all I kept saying was, Stu, shut the fuck up. Now that I understand why he's always like this, I feel bad for him. Because I feel like that's the way that he can calm himself from being depressed. He can stop himself from not being so depressed and that he's not functional anymore. That amount of pain on one person can be overwhelming. So it's better to just be happy about life, be happy that you're alive today, and be able to move forward. With Michelet, she wants to show more emotion because she's still dwelling on some of the stuff that she has experienced in the past, and it seems like he's not capable of doing that. If he opens himself up to pain, all the other pain in the past will come flooding back. How the hell is he supposed to deal with it and help you get over all the stuff that you get through in the past? Because as Michelet's little kid is talking about her and what she tolerated and how she felt like it was the woman's fault when the man will beat her, what did you do to piss him off? That ass backwards thinking. Stu actually wasn't smiling. He looked like he genuinely was feeling bad for the girl he loves, but when it's on him, he laughs it off. You know, that is a coping mechanism, is a defense mechanism too, and I'm glad that they pointed it out. Hopefully Stu can work it out. Then we saw the kid describing Audra's abuse, and they got their tattoos. CeeLo's kid got to me. Shawnee was crying. I felt it in my spirit. I thought that they needed to see themselves when they were kids to really give them perspective on the type of people they are now. Then we got Judge Lynn Toller coming out, summing up everything, saying this is day 8. We're almost done. The next day 9 will be lie detector day. Y'all need to think of the questions you want to ask each other, because then you get the truth of what you want. Jocelyn's running around the house saying that she's going to ask Ballistic if he's going to marry her. Jocelyn, you have a lot to learn, because why is it that after this exercise, that's what you think about? It's like it didn't click. Girl, you still have a lot to deal with. You still sexualize everything. You need to work on that first. Learn to love yourself for who you are and not just because of your body and what you can do with that body before you start going up to somebody telling them to marry your ass or else. Because Ballistic also has an issues where he's not able to relay his feelings because of how he felt when his grandmama passed away. He feels like, I don't need nobody. I don't need to talk to nobody. I don't need to confide in anybody. I'm a strong, that manly man attitude that a man is not supposed to show pain is the type of person Ballistic is. Y'all both have a lot to work on before y'all walking down the aisle. So slow the fuck down. We understand that Stevie embarrassed your ass with Mimi. I get it, girl, but it was a while ago. You got yourself a good man who wants to be with you, who loves you, who's gonna love your kid, probably better than Stevie's little trifling ass. So calm down, let the chips fall where they may, fix yourself first, then try to you can't love somebody else, you have to love yourself in order to love somebody else. You can't just want something because it's an achievement. To me, I think marriage for Jocelyn is another achievement that she'll feel that she got with her body if she doesn't heal herself first. Because everything about her is, I use my hands, to fan my beautiful face, to dance, to work my body. That is not what this man wants. He wants to love your spirit. He wants to love your voice. He wants to love your words. He wants to make love to your mind first before your body. So fix that, then ask for marriage. Then we got Bianca freaking bullying chose us in the bathroom talking about, I want to know if you cheated on me while we were together. I want to know. Girl, why would you even ask that or waste a lie detector test with that question? We all know he cheated on your ass because he always goes and finds somebody else whenever you guys have a fight. Of course he cheated. Don't waste your question. Ask something that makes sense because we all know he did. Get over it. And then Stu is out here talking about how boot camp is a setup for the relationship. It's not going to work out. And I just feel like I hope that Stu and Miss Chalet make it. I really do, because I think Stu is good for Miss Chalet. She needs to learn how to love, and best way to do it is to have somebody there who can show her how to love. At the same time, I think that Stu needs to open up and let Miss Chalet hold him down so he can get through the pain and learn to cope properly. Everything don't need to be a motherfucking joke. Then we move on to the next review. We got Waka and Tammy with the Flocka, season 1, episode 3, Marriage is a Firestorm. They asked the question, would you lie to your spouse to save your marriage? No, the fuck I won't. Yes, that clothes makes you look fat. Yes, honey, beer makes your belly huge. Yes, your breath stinks in the morning. I don't want to smell it, nor do I want to taste it. Yes, your boo-boo stinks. I will tell you the truth because you're supposed to trust that whenever you ask me something, I love you enough to be honest with you. And yes, even though your breath stinks in the morning, I'm still there with you. Even though your shit stinks when you poop, I'm still there smelling it, talking to you while you read a newspaper and getting it in. I'm still there to kiss all that fat in your belly when it's big because I chose to love you through all your flaws. So you're damn right I'm not going to lie to your ass. I'm going to tell you the truth, even if it hurts. No, I don't like your family. They piss me the fuck off and they need to change. So that was the question that they asked. Of course, they're not in the same accord. Tammy feels like you're not supposed to lie. You're supposed to tell the truth all the time. And Waka feels like, yeah, you're supposed to lie sometimes because it makes things better. You don't want to hurt her feelings, so you lie to her. That's the same mentality he had when he was cheating on her. I'm not going to tell her the truth that I'm fucking around on her because I don't want to hurt her feelings. But then she finds out anyway. And then she's not just hurt, but she's also disappointed that she felt the need. You didn't care about her enough to be honest. What kind of fucked up ass mentality is that? Waka's a mama's boy. I don't know what lessons he learned, but he's learning all the wrong ones. Then we got Tammy and her booty in the closet with her manager. She's bawling, saying that she's extremely overwhelmed. She has a disrespectful ass child. Waka's lack of communication is bothering her. She has the album pressure on her. She has the house they're trying to renovate to make this mansion nice. She is tired and she's overwhelmed, and she doesn't usually show herself breaking down in front of Waka, which I think she needs to learn to do more often so he can hold her. But she doesn't like showing emotion either. So here she is breaking down. So they got to call their studio, what's his name? I forgot his name. Letting him know that it's going to be canceled so she can get herself back together. Waka, drummer boy, and another dude in the studio are talking about money and business. And Waka's talking about old ass No Hands song that came out when I was still in high school. It's old. We love the song. It was great. It's one of your legendary music that you made. Now make something else. Then we got Deb meeting up with Tammy, letting her know that she doesn't want to bring up the therapy situation that Waka decided that they should go. I think that Deb is way too much involved in their personal relationship. I really do. And I think it's partially because she babied Waka. A lot of black moms in the olden days, I don't know if they still do it now to the extent that they did, they tend to cuddle their son and put like bottles in their mouth, and that's the term baby boy came into play. But then with their girls, they're screaming at her when she comes out with a belly shirt, yelling at her about not getting pregnant, screaming at her about not being a hoe, but yeah, you got your son and you're all giving him props while he's fucking at 11 years old. That ass backwards thinking has Waka sitting up here not being able to behave in a certain way and making Tammy looking bad in certain situations. At the same time, Tammy's feeling like I'm the only one that can sit up here and fix everything because Waka is not really dependable. He's not consistent. And here's Deb involving herself and putting Tammy as the bad guy because of the image that Waka probably portrays to her. But they're having dinner or lunch, and Deb mentions that she wants a grandbaby. And Tammy's like, I'm a wife and I'm an artist. I'm a mother. I'm a businesswoman. I need to slow the fuck down because I can't have this baby. You know, for me to do that, I got to have my legs up in the air all the time just to make sure I get pregnant. I said, no, ma'am, you got to have your legs up in the air just to make sure you get that release, because that helps. When you release and you didn't have your moment and your head is spinning and you didn't hit that moment where you just want to, it really relaxes you. It's like a natural relaxer. You don't need to go to get a massage. You just need to come a little bit and you be good. So you don't need to have a baby. Just have your legs up in the air so you can have fun. Both y'all will have fun. I know Waka wants some ass too, shit. Then Tammy's doing her makeup and Charlie's disrespectful ass comes back from school. And of course, she's entitled and rude, and she's spoiled, and she feels like, you know, the thing is, Tammy grew up not having much. She grew up in the projects in the ghetto. She had to fight for everything, including the fact that she had the light skin, dark skin epidemic. She being light, they were favored. So she had a lot of people bullying her, wanting to beat her ass. So she toughened up. With her daughter, Charlie, she gave Charlie everything, especially coming from an abusive relationship. She doted on her daughter and made sure her daughter went in for nothing, which is a great thing that a mother should do in order to show their daughter and their children in general that they love them. But sometimes, especially when you're dealing with celebrities, there's a good chance that the kid might come up spoiled and not valuing some of the hard work because they have not experienced the hardship that you experienced. And with Charlie, Charlie has a smart ass mouth as a teenager, 14 years old. She has a smart ass mouth because she hasn't gone through any trials and tribulations in life. She had it easy because of the life that Tammy provided for her and with the help of Waka. So she comes in pissed off with an attitude, mad at Tammy because Tammy cut her braids the last episode because she went out and got her hair braided when she was supposed to be on punishment and she didn't ask for her permission. So she said, come give me a hug, and she's like, no, give me a handshake. I said, you know what? Eventually, I think Charlie will humble herself with age, but right now she's disrespectful. Then we got Tammy, we got Waka going to see Tammy's mama, and that food she cooked was bomb as hell. I was hungry just watching it. That fish she made, Tammy's mama can burn. Then she asked Waka the same question Deb asked. What about my grandkids? Waka's like, y'all not gonna babysit, so why the hell am I finna sit up here and have a baby, but I'm gonna have to be there 24/7, and right now that's not the case. Then he says that he wants to go to emotional therapy from a non-biased person because marriage boot camp was only there to teach them how to treat each other. Now they need to learn how to express themselves with each other, and that's what therapy's for. But he suggests, my phone call keeps coming in every time I'm doing something like this, but Waka and Tammy are discussing them going to therapy. And Tammy's mom is very honest and real and says that she doesn't know if Tammy will be open to therapy because Tammy don't listen. She's stubborn. She thinks that she knows everything. And she doesn't, you know, because of the history that she has of Waka, she knows that she's been having to do things on her own because any day he can go out and cheat and then not come home. So her going to therapy, she may not be open to it. Plus, she has a tough exterior. She had to fight all the time to protect herself. She had to fight all these different girls in the neighborhood. She had to get herself where she wanted to be. So trying to come out now and be open to complete strangers is not something that she may be comfortable doing. Then you got Waka going to Tammy now suggesting that they should go to therapy, but he puts it in the context of the therapy is for me. It's not couples therapy. Lie. So of course, Tammy, when they get there, is already kind of like in shock a little bit that you lied to me to bring me here, saying that it wasn't couples therapy, that it was just for you. So now I'm sitting here already irritated because you didn't lie to me, you know, to bring me here. Now you want me to talk to this person. Okay, so fine. Waka went out of his way to talk about Tammy's flaws because let's be real. He didn't want that therapy because he thought he was doing something wrong. He wanted that therapy because he wanted somebody else to tell Tammy she's doing something wrong because Tammy wouldn't listen to him if he articulated that to her. So Tammy's sitting up there and she's defending herself to a complete stranger. She's talking about how she was fighting all these demons when Waka had a lot of fame, a lot of fortune, a lot of all these women, all these drugs, everything that comes with the industry of hip hop and rap. She's the girlfriend in the background that nobody knew about while he was out here lollygagging and putting his dick and everything with the Post. So she feels like I had to protect myself and I also had a kid to take care of. And then those times when we broke up, he was gone and I had to be a single mom. Then he comes back into her life, Charlie's life, and he's going to be a parent again because Waka is upset saying that as a disciplinarian, Tammy's not good enough. But Tammy's like, you're not home enough for me to even for you to be disciplining the child. I'm the one doing it. You always undermine me. Waka says, yeah, but you're supposed to let me know what happened in the house when I come back. No, you're supposed to be there often to even be a part of the family because now you're telling Tammy that she was not a good parent in the sense of how she handled Charlie because now Charlie is spoiled and kind of rude. But at the same time, you were not a consistent person throughout. When you cheated, you were gone. We were not together. So it had left me to do everything on my own. Hell, even when they were in love and hip hop, they had broken up too. The baby doesn't go with Charlie. Charlie doesn't go with Waka when they break up. So why are you now critiquing me when she's 14 when you had gaps in your parenting because you were not present? That's not fair. At the same time, Tammy needs to learn to be more receptive when Waka opens his mouth because there's some things that he says that make sense. Like the person they hired to renovate their house that she lost 50-something thousand to, when he said that he didn't trust that person. She should have listened, but she didn't. So they decide that they're going to try to communicate better. She's going to try to listen better, and she's going to try to change some of the stuff in the household, and he's going to work on it. But that shit didn't happen because as soon as they get in the car, they start arguing to the point where he had to take off the camera. I said, you know what? I don't know who gave y'all a show, but y'all not making yourself look better. We thought that when you went to marriage boot camp, it's going to be better. But now that we're sitting up here watching this fuckery, I don't know if they're going to make it. I don't know if they're just with each other because they've had so many years of back and forth that they feel like they just don't have a choice. I feel like that may be the case at this point. That's just me. Anyway, please like, subscribe, notification bell. I'm going to post my second review, and I'm also going to do Real Housewives of Atlanta tomorrow when it comes up. And you guys have a good weekend and keep yourself safe. We know that the coronavirus apparently is hitting, I think about 100,000 people so far in the U.S. are infected. Hopefully we can get through this 8 weeks. Our stimulus check hopefully comes in and we're not penalized for it. Taxes, wishful thinking. But y'all go ahead and have a good day. Bye.